Welcome to Vape News Radio, the voice of vaping. In each show, we share the latest about regulations and things you need to know, plus upcoming conferences and fests, along with interviews with the movers and shakers in this fabulous vape space. Are you looking to get into this ever-expanding marketplace? Do you want to master this industry? Listen up as Norm Bauer, the Vape Mentor, shares it all. And here's your host, Norm Bauer.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Vape News Radio, the voice of vaping. If you're just joining us for this particular segment, this is show number 12. This is segment number 2, or letter B, whatever you want to call it. And this is really where we have our first interview of the day, and this one's going to be pretty interesting, especially if you go to events or would like to go to events. And I want to remind you that this episode is sponsored by Vape News Magazine, the #1 publication for consumers as well as the industry, and the first magazine specifically focused on the world of vaping. Whether you're interested in upcoming events, the latest technology, hardware, or juices, or if you just want to stay on top of the regulations and the business side of vaping, be sure to enjoy Vape News Magazine. And a special offer just for you guys, our radio audience, when you get a 1-year subscription to Vape News Magazine, you get 12 issues for double the coverage, and you get free e-liquid samples courtesy of our sponsors. Just go to vapenewsmagazine.com/radio deal. Okay, so again, if you're just joining us, what we do is that we interview what I call the movers and shakers, and there are events going on all the time. I've been to probably 10 in the last 12 months. I can't believe it, but I've spent more time on an airplane this year than I have in a long, long, long time, and probably will be for the foreseeable future. But here's what I'm finding. I'm finding that the amateurs out there who are putting these events together are starting to get overshadowed by the professionals, the ones who really got it down and know what they're doing. And there's 2 guys who are behind Vapor Summit, and even though this is only the second one that they're doing, they are looking at it professionally from a business standpoint. You're going to be hearing Rainier and Rocky talking about Vape Summit coming up in November 7th and 8th in Houston. So, Paul, go ahead and let her fly. Welcome back to Vape News Radio. This is Norm Bauer, the voice of vaping, and as I talk about all the time, I go to events all over the country, both as an attendee and also as a speaker, and I have on the phone Rocky Enciano and Rainier Galgano, and they are going to be doing an event in Houston called Vape Summit. Now, you need to understand, this is a big, big deal, and that's why I wanted to get them on the phone, because they're going to be firmly involved. So, Rocky and Rainier, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Norm, for having us.
Excellent. So, Rocky, you're kind of the lead guy here, so if it's okay, I'm going to go ahead and start with you. So, tell us a little bit about yourself, because your background is rather intriguing as what you do as a profession.
I'm still a practicing respiratory therapist. Been active for about 7-8 years now. I got into the vaping industry because it helped me smoke. It helped me stop smoking cigarettes, essentially. My business partner, Jeff Natalio, introduced me to vaping, and within a week, after 5 years of smoking, I was able to quit. One store opened after another. We noticed some, separation in the industry itself. So, we found another way of working together as a community with all the regulations pressuring upon us. And we started basically, the Vape Summit. It's more than just a trade show. Go ahead.
Awesome. All right. So you glossed over a little bit of things that I want to dig into. So first thing you did is you opened your own vape store, correct?
Yes.
And where was that?
The first vape store we opened was in Diamond Bar, California. And then we opened up another one in San Diego. Then we partnered up with Tony Mueller, who opened up 2 locations in Hawaii, Honolulu and Pearl City.
Excellent. So you kind of touched on something that is very personal to me, and that is the segmentation of people who don't like to play in each other's sandbox, because I've noticed that as well, where there seems to be a lot of self-protection in this industry, which really just pisses me off big time, because I'm a huge believer of collaboration. So what did you see in the industry, guys, as far as people not willing to, I'm going to say, cooperate or be friendly with each other?
Rainier or me?
Norm, you use the word that we love to use all the time, which is collaboration. We too have seen this, not just, from other industries, but even more prevalent in this one, right? I come from a background in financial services industry and jumped into the events world and through large-scale events, but in the vaping industry, I haven't seen as much prevalent self-protectionism. And truth be told, let's call it what it is. There's a lot of egos out there as well, too, that exist in this community. And we really think that these are major obstacles that have to be overcome in order for this industry not just to survive, but thrive in the nature of what we're dealing with this day and age with regulations and all the other looming things that are surrounding this industry itself. That's really what attracted me to Rocky, which was his vision to take this segmentation and do something else with it and get everybody to collaborate, like you said, and do something together.
Nice. So I'm going to touch on something, and I don't want to get too off topic because here we're talking about the Houston Vape Summit, which is going to be coming up on November 7th and 8th. So if you are reasonably close or close to Texas, this would be something you want to go to. But one of the things I've seen is that there's also a lot of protectionism along the diversity line, where I found that a lot of the Filipinos don't want to deal with the Japanese, who don't want to deal with the Koreans, who don't want to deal with the Chinese. And have you guys seen anything along those ethnic divides as well?
Not really. I think the vaping community itself is a minority. There's such a bigger obstacle out there, which is, the FDA, local jurisdiction. Just people don't even know what vaping is. So in that sense, I don't see any real segregation at that level.
That's awesome.
I don't see a segregation at that level from an ethnic standpoint. I think what you're probably referring to, Norm, is just the coincidence of where a lot of this stuff actually starts, which is, cliques and groups, right? And typically these groups lie within a certain area or demographic, which has those types of relationships that they build with each other, right? You'll see a lot of this spurring up in Southern California itself, and I think that also leads back to what we were talking about earlier with segmentation in the market, which is some of these business owners and some of the people who've gone, into this business and been very successful come from various backgrounds, and sometimes at some points don't necessarily have, business backgrounds in that sense as well too. So that's something that we've taken, and I know, Norm, we've had some discussions about that, which is why we're privileged to have the opportunity to speak to you in what you do in this industry as well too. So thank you for that.
I appreciate that. My pleasure, of course. And so let's talk about your event. So your event's going to be coming up in just a few weeks from now. So you had your first event in Las Vegas, and when was that, guys?
It was June 13 and 14.
Of 2014?
Yes, it was this past June.
Awesome. So what did you learn from that event as far as what went really, really great and what didn't go quite as well as planned?
Oh, that's all.
We learned a lot.
You learned a whole lot.
Good. That's what I want. This is a get down, get gritty, all transparency here. So, no one ever gets it right the first time. I didn't get radio right the first time, but so what did you guys learn about doing the first time that you're going to absolutely improve the second time?
I think we're going to use the same model, really. Just be like water, as Rainier says, adapt to all the changes, adapt to, whatever curveballs are thrown at us, and over-exceed and over-deliver. What we found that worked with the way the Vape Summit operates is just, maintaining that hospitality, listening to our vendors, listening to the attendees, and making those right adjustments so that, we're not going to please everybody in the world, but at least we have there's a certain level of respect, and we can conduct that way.
Awesome. How many people do you think you got in Las Vegas, and how many vendors between attendees and vendors?
I would estimate anywhere from 5,000 to 7,000 attendees, over 225 vendors.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a property takeover that we did not foresee.
That's nice. So how do those numbers compare to what you're projecting for Houston?
We're kind of scared to even fathom that.
Too much success can be a little bit frightening, right?
I think we perpetrated, or we propelled some kind of momentum shift within this industry that really, created a message that everybody got together and got along.
Nice.
And they're using the Summit platform to propel their ideas. So much ingenuity, so much innovation, so much new products, new juice lines, new companies are emerging that we've noticed ever since our event in June. And I'm not saying it's all because of us. It's just that they believe in this vision, whether you're an attendee or not. Our message transcended beyond what we imagined.
All right, so tell me what the quote-unquote summit philosophy is, and how does it differ from other, events?
Collaboration, unity, a unifiable experience. Work with everybody and anybody. Listen to, the up-and-comer. Listen to the person that's already established. Be that middle person to bridge those gaps. That was the whole essence of it.
That's one thing that Rocky truly inspired me with as well too. Is one of I think his best qualities is his ability to bring people together. And whereas you might see other organizations try to keep it very close-knit into the people that they have involved, Rocky has a very welcoming atmosphere. You'll notice that the members on our board were, hand-selected, and he made sure that, we were bringing on the influencers, but not for the point of providing our influence, but to have them influence us as to how the summit should be. I think one of the defining things about our business model is that we don't have one that is rigid. We do believe that we should be like water, and the true definition of what the summit is just the platform. We're basically the medium for the real culture of the vaping community to be able to express itself. And at times we'll provide guidance where we can and point these, people in the right direction so that we can be successful together and really make an impact of what really matters out there. I truly enjoy the conversations that Rocky and I have when we're talking to various exhibitors and sponsors who are contributing to the event, because we always want to ask them why. What's the reason why you do this? Why are you vaping? Why do you want other people to vape? And the stories that have emerged from this have truly been inspirational and impactful. The people who no longer smoke as a result of it, the people who've had grandmothers who were smoking for the longest time and coughing all the time, getting them to start vaping, and the coughing is gone. That's awesome. Impactful things like that we strive to attain and spread the word on.
All right, so that's one of the reasons why I wanted to have you guys on the show, is because I'm fairly spiritual. As a matter of fact, I'm very spiritual, and I definitely believe that there's a lot more to be gained by collaboration rather than competition. So you guys are taking a very holistic approach to this. And, I've defined events under 3 different categories. You have your fests, which are basically a party looking for a place and an excuse to happen. That's at one extreme. And, here it's really all about the music and about the noise and about the blowing of the smoke and about the women with their cheeks hanging out. And we're not talking about the cheeks on their face. You're talking about the trade events, which are a little bit more official, a little bit more conservative, like the NATO events. And then you have that big section in between that I basically call conferences and expos. So between those 3 categories, where do you guys see yourself positioned between those 3, those 3 silos, so to speak?
All of them.
All of them. Nice.
I think, the beauty behind Summit is that, we get the business done, we get that out of the way, but, the fun is a byproduct of it, We're so unorthodox, in our tactics, and I think that's what sets us apart.
How are you unorthodox, Rocky? You keep alluding to it, but you're not telling me what it is you're doing differently. And I don't want your secret sauce, so don't get me wrong. But I'm the national event coordinator for Vape News magazine, and of course the host of Vape News Radio. So I talk to event promoters all over the country. And I've seen people who really just do not have their shit together, and I've seen those who really do have their shit together, and you guys, I think, really do have it together. So that's why I'm intrigued. And again, I don't want you to give away anything proprietary, but you guys have just your whole energy is different than a lot of people. And granted, you're looking to profit from it, but yet your passion and your motivation seems to be a lot more pure. And I believe I'm reading that correctly. So any comment on that?
It's just a lot of balance and control, and investing in relationships. This whole project was never money driven. I told Rainier, if I could just, work with everybody that I wasn't able to work with, let's step up our reputations on a bigger platform. Let's identify our strengths and just piggyback on each other. I think this could be a long-term thing, and everything else would be the byproduct. I'm talking fun, the money. All these trips to different states and countries that, we never had the opportunity to have. We're just living in the moment, to be honest.
Yeah.
So are you planning on expanding the summit beyond Vegas and Houston? I mean, are you dominating the world now? You on a world conquest, guys?
Yeah. No, really.
That's true.
All right, awesome. So so two questions I wanted to address before we left is that what is the expected attendance both for attendees and for vendors for Houston, and what other cities are you planning on engaging in so that people who are listening in those cities can kind of keep an ear out and kind of watch for news as it comes up?
That's Rainier's answers right there.
All right, Rainier.
All
right, guys.
Anticipate for the buyer-to-buyer experience, which is that Friday, where we're allowing qualified buyers who are business owners, decision makers in the industry to be able to interact with the exhibitors and sponsors, as well as industry people, which are the employees that also are on the front lines every day and can speak about the influence and the trending of different products. That day we anticipate between 2,000 to 3,000 people or more. We're leaning more towards the more side based upon all the feedback we're starting to receive. And as far as the general attendance day itself there on Saturday, being partnered with Hot Import Nights, that group alone brings over 10 to 15,000 people by themselves. Now, merging the two worlds which have a passion for, that hobbyist type of feel and movement, we find that there's going to be some very great synergy there is what we anticipate. So,
well, one of the things that I love about what you guys are doing is that, I'm an educator, and when people come to these events, I'm glad that you're doing a B2B day. So for those of you who are listening who are not in the business, a B2B is really where people within the industry get to talk to other people within the industry. And there's a lot of brainstorming. There's a lot of masterminding. There's a lot of really amazing things that come out of it. And it's very focused, but yet it's fun at the same time. And, of course, the B2C is the party. That's going to be on that Saturday and on that Sunday as well. I got my dates right. So Friday's your B2B, and then is that the 7th of November is your Friday, and then the 8th is on Saturday?
That's correct, Norm.
And then it goes into Sunday on the 9th, and then it goes pretty much the whole day for the consumers at large.
Sunday is we're done. It's a 2-day show, 7th and 8th, that we're going to have. That Sunday, based upon feedback that we've had, we're trying to find extracurricular events to where the community can just hang out with each other, right?
That's
we're
awesome.
looking at doing a barbecue. We've noticed feedback from a lot of people, that have attended the events that everybody gets tired from doing this. These are long days sometimes, so we're trying to create experiences where that engagement can happen, whether it be business to business or business to customer, like you said. And,
That's
touching
excellent.
Real quick, I would love to talk about one of the words that Rocky mentioned, which is balance, and refer back to what you were talking about with our show. The balance that exists between our team, we have the structure, we have the proper planning and logistics and whatnot, but then we have the unorthodox methods of marketing and everything. And it's a culmination of our team that's reflected in the event itself. Which is why when you ask that question, we are kind of all of those spaces or a combination or something in the middle when it comes to that kind of an event. Some of the things that we're focusing on this time, too, is to create that real great speaker series and seminar series. We're working on what's called the Vape Summit Academy so that we can have anybody interested in this world of jumping into the vaping industry or just improving and learning more about the vaping industry to be able to participate and gain that education as the event occurs. And, of course, Norm, we would be privileged to have you out there to provide your guidance as through our conversations has been very, very impactful.
Thank you, guys. You don't have to twist my arm very far because, like I said, I love what you guys are doing, and I think we're definitely in synchronicity here. Is there a charge for this event for the consumer so that I can tell everyone? It's a free event.
Norm, there is a charge for this. The day of the event and leading up to is the pre-registration of $15 for general attendees. But definitely look out for the discount codes that are coming out from a bunch of our exhibitors and sponsors, which will take that down to a $10 pre-registration fee. And for the business-to-business experience itself, which is able to attend both days, it'll be $50. But, of course, look for those promo codes and discounts from our exhibitors and sponsors, which will take it down to $25. And, of course, there'll be some comps out there, too, for some of the great contests that we'll have up and running for the event.
Well, I can speak from experience. I mean, just to go there and pick up your free vaping juice and your liquids, you'd easily get your money's worth in just the first hour or so that just you're walking around. All right, so contact information and website information because, again, our goal here at Vape News Radio is to inform the public and your followers about exactly how and where things are happening. So this is going to be Houston, November 7th and 8th. It's called Houston Summit. And contact information, Rocky, best website, best email address, Twitter. Give me all the contact information, brother.
The best website is www.thevapesummit.com, and the best email to reach us at is info@thevapesummit.com.
Awesome. Any closing remarks, gentlemen, before I let you guys off the hook?
See you at the top.
See you at the top.
All right, right on. Well, this is Norm Bauer with Vape News Magazine, the voice of vaping. And again, hopefully you can join us all because I will be out there along with the rest of the Vape News Magazine team. Yes, we are in fact going to have a booth there, and we're going to be giving away all our little bling along with lots of magazines and different giveaways. So let's hope that we see you guys out there November 7th and 8th in Houston. This is Norm Bauer with Vape News Magazine. Don't go away. We're going to be right back. Well, I don't know about you, but I hope you found that compelling because here's what I liked about it. Again, I have been involved with hundreds of different events over the last 40 years. I've been involved as a promoter, I've been involved as a speaker, and I've been involved especially as an attendee. And whenever I go to an event, I always ask myself, why am I going? Am I getting any quote-unquote value out of it? What are my takeaways? And so when you go to a fest, you're going there primarily for fun. When you're going to a trade show, or something upscale, you're going for primarily education and also for networking and for fun. And so Vape Summit kind of fits in the middle, which is where I think is the largest room for expansion. These are what I call expos, where you have a combination of fun. So you have your loud music, you have your people walking around with their tatted up, skin and their T-shirts, and the young girls with their cheeks hanging out, and we're not talking about the cheeks above their neck. And you're also talking about a lot of networking. There's a lot of business that gets done, a lot of wholesale relationships that are created, and also you are going to hear speaking panels. And it so happens that at Vapor Summit, I'm going to be there speaking, and there's going to be several other people that are there speaking. So if you are near Houston or can get yourself to Houston on the 7th and 8th of November, I would encourage you to do that. So, again, you're listening to Vape News Radio, the voice of vaping. My name is Norm Bauer. I am your Vape Mentor. You may get a hold of me here at norm@vapementors.com. And we're going to go ahead and do an outro here for section number 2. And when we come back, we are going to talk to one of the biggest, if not the biggest player in the e-liquid space, and this is the CEO of Space Jam. Not to be confused with the Bugs Bunny movie, although it was very humorous, Paul.
Yes, I thought, that's what I thought of.
Do not go away. We're going to be right back with the voice of vaping.
As always, you're listening to the only show that covers the vaping industry in detail. Voice News Radio with your host, Norm Bauer, the Vape Mentor. Brought to you by OCTalkRadio.net.